Okay, guys, so I'm trying a few different options for recording video footage here or video lectures. Um, if you hear my dogs or my kids, just ignore that. They're getting a little antsy being cooped up. So, this video is going to be for our chemistry class, and we're going to talk a little bit about alternative medicine. And we're going to look at the first alternative medicine PowerPoint. So basically what we're looking at is, what is alternative medicine? Alternative medicine is anything that is not traditional. So what is the difference? What is traditional medication or traditional therapies or traditional medicine? We're looking at things, prescriptions that are prescribed by a physician, doctor visits, x-rays, tests, CT scans, legend or prescription drugs, over-the-counter drugs, all the follow-up visits. Those are all considered traditional therapies or traditional medicine. Alternative. So what is alternative? Alternative would be things like a chiropractor or homeopathic doctors. Those do exist. There's actually a few here in town that are homeopathic doctors. They kind of specialize in like hormone replacement therapy that is bioidentical. So these are hormone replacements that you can only get through a compounding pharmacy. They still require a prescription, but they are considered bioidentical. So instead of being derived from pregnant mare or pregnant horse urine, as our pharmaceutical hormone replacement therapies are, these ones are derived from soy or yam based or plant based. Herbs, acupuncture, acupressure, yoga. These are different types of alternative medicine. So alternative medicine has typically been viewed as ineffective, ancient, not real, doesn't have any science or research base behind it. So Eastern medicine came from other countries such as Asia, India, Japan, and they really set the base for treating sickness, and it also set the foundation for Western medicine. Eastern medicine typically used to believe that illnesses were caused by like evil spirits or karma, okay? And it was through thousands of years of experimentation that was gathered through many different cultures. So Western medicine is basically taking the ideas from Eastern medicine but adding their own treatments into that. So things like the microscope invention in the 1600s, that's what helped start microbiology, because there was a period of time where people thought that when you got sick, it was an evil spirit. So when we had the invention of the microscope, we were able to start that that upward spiral into recognizing that illnesses are caused by bacteria, illnesses are caused by viruses. So there's an actual scientific reason why people are getting sick, and not just because of evil spirits or karma or things like that. So the evil spirits are now identified as microbial diseases, and because of this, we're adding our own treatments into Eastern medicine. We are able to produce chemical agents that could produce a predetermined action within the body, medications, right? So Western medicine omitted most cultural superstition in many aspects from many cultures all over the world. And Western medicine relies on scientific methods to prove the effectiveness of treatments. This is one thing that ties back to our FDA. FDA requires that drug manufacturers prove safety and efficacy on any new drugs that are brought to the market. Many treatments come from herbs. So for example, digoxin, which is a heart medication used to treat congestive heart failure or CHF, is actually derived from the foxglove plant. And this drug cannot be chemically reproduced, so it is only derived from a natural source. So why would we see a trend towards alternative medicine? So we would see an upward trend towards alternative medicine for a couple different reasons. One, other countries and cultures cannot afford or obtain traditional medicine. So we still have parts of the world that are not economically sound and do not have the money or the resources to increase their Western medicine capabilities. We still have organizations like the World Health Organization that are trying to go into pretty underdeveloped countries and distribute vaccines and stuff like that. It's also viewed that alternative medicine has limitations within what it can do, and there's a risk of side effects. A lot of alternative things, think back to when we didn't have the FDA established, and a lot of these, compounding pharmacies in the 1800s were compounding and making things from whatever they wanted. And we didn't know anything about those then. It was kind of trial and error. And if, we probably shouldn't use that because, 3 people have died from ingesting, the certain plant. So there's a lot of risks involved from the alternative side. Rising cost of Western medicine, that's something that we're looking at as a nation here in the United States. Our prescription drug costs are skyrocketing, healthcare costs are skyrocketing, insurance, all of that. So if you can imagine our burden of increased costs for Western medicine, for sure underdeveloped countries that don't have the money or have a poorer population are not going to be able to afford and sustain any of that. Western medicine and alternative medicine have both been viewed similarly to increase lifespan, and then treating an illness with alternative medicine should be the last resort in some opinions. So that's just really ultimately what comes down to what the patient wants, what the patient believes. That's our right to be able to decide what type of treatment we're receiving, who's giving us this treatment, and we have the decision not to accept treatment. We have those choices. In the 1900s, physicians began putting both traditional and alternative medicine or therapies together. So in 1990, the National Center for Complementary and Alternative Medicine was formed. So this entity does research on alternative treatments. They train individuals like our homeopathic doctors that practice here in the United States, and any other individuals that are interested in learning about alternative medicine. And this entity is a great resource to provide consumers with information on the different various types of therapies available. Placebo effect. So what is the placebo effect? What is placebo? It's an inert drug, which means it contains no active ingredient. So it's basically a sugar pill. Okay. We use this sometimes, we use it in human drug trials. So in human drug trials, they have a percentage of the population that's participating in the trial will get the drug, and then a separate population will get the placebo, which means they're not getting the drug, and it's just a sugar pill. And this is how they do their contained scientific experiment to see if the drug is really working versus not. Unfortunately, the doctors don't even know who gets placebo versus the actual drug, and the patients don't know either. So that's just something to keep in mind and think. It's pretty interesting how they do that. In an alternative aspect, the placebo effect is they use placebos to help a patient based on the power of the patient's mind and the belief that the medication is going to work. And again, they also use it in drug studies, double-blind testing, where the patient and doctor do not know who has received the active drug. So acupuncture and acupressure, I don't know if anybody's had the opportunity to experience either one of those. I have not. But they use a lot of acupuncture now for addiction, which is pretty interesting. So the body has energy channels that become blocked, is the view of why acupuncture and acupressure are being used. So acupuncture uses needles to release the toxins, and acupressure uses pressure to apply that is applied to those same channels, just without the use of needles, to release those toxins from the body. Aromatherapy uses the nasal senses with herbs and perfumes to treat the patient. So aromatherapy can be used to help treat stress and insomnia or sleeping issues, irritability, fatigue, nausea, and vomiting. And a lot of people use it. There's quite a few companies out there that use aromatherapy. You have the diffusers and a lot of the essential oils, particularly the essential oil that Tammy accidentally dropped in the classroom a couple weeks ago, and was a very strong odor. It's the same essential oils that we put into the compounding of the soaps and the different things that you've made in class. So it's all essentially the same thing. Ancient Chinese medicine has been a well-known art for over 4,000 years. It involves more than just herbs. So they view the yin and the yang. The yin is male, which represents light or sky. The yang is female, which represents dark and earth. And in Chinese medicine, they believe that male and females have similar chemicals but different spirits. Art therapy. This actually gained popularity in the 1960s and has especially been used for the mentally disturbed or traumatized patients as a form of release. We still use this in behavioral health today. When I worked at Palo Verde, that was one of the things that you could see the groups on the different units going to art therapy. They went every single day. They did different activities. Some of the things they can do is, draw their feelings on paper if they cannot verbally communicate it. This especially helps with children who have been traumatized. Keeping in mind, though, that this type of therapy is not meant to replace counseling. It's an adjunctive or additional therapy that they use. Other forms of art therapy, they can do paintings and work with clay and do masks. There's also music therapy. We used to have karaoke sessions on the different units of Palo Verde a couple times a week, and you would be really surprised what a difference it was making with these patients, and different in their mood and how they were interacting with each other, and even for that period of time that they were singing and kind of letting go. Poetry, drama, dance are other options. Ayurveda was developed in India, and this is basically around surrounding people knowing their spiritual self, the body, and all that it affects. So that includes colors and sounds and clothing, the environment around them, and how it stimulates them, not only from a personal side, but a physical and spiritual side. Certain foods and herbs. Practitioners in this belief or this alternative medicine style will always suggest an alteration to food or lifestyles to help prevent or cure illnesses. Excuse me. I do not have coronavirus. Thank you. Biofeedback is using the patient's mental ability to alter involuntary movement. So things like blood pressure, heart rate, gastrointestinal, emptying of your stomach into your intestines, all of that, breathing. We don't sit and think, okay, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. We don't tell our heart, pump, 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 right? These are all involuntary movements. So biofeedback is something that they're using that's taught by an instructor using electrical equipment. So they use this in treating anxiety. Okay, so think about those little electrodes that you can stick to your muscles. They used to sell them to increase your abs and stuff like that. But they use it a lot in physical therapy, and it helps. They can treat lower back pain. It can be used to treat tension headaches. And once the patients are taught how to use these, they can use these for themselves at home instead of having to go in and have it done. Chiropractic, which is an orthopedic approach to treating pain from the misalignment of bones. Many people have gone to a chiropractor. I have not. It scares me. But some people do, and that makes a world of difference. So they use therapies through manipulation. They use massage and heat. Sometimes it takes many sessions to retrain the muscles to accept the realignment. So it didn't take us overnight for our bodies to become unaligned. This was over years or months or whatever. Sometimes it was results of injuries. So in this case, it's going to take multiple sessions for your body to get used to that. So that completes the PowerPoint section there for alternative medicine. So we're going to tie into the second one here in the next coming day, and just think about in overall how alternative medicine still plays a role even here in the United States today. We still have people that refuse to take prescription medications, and a lot of people go into Whole Foods and Sprouts and different places, the compounding pharmacies that have natural supplements and stuff like that, and that's what they prefer, and that's okay. So I'm going to try to continue on with these videos. Hopefully it's a little bit more helpful for you to get through the PowerPoints. You guys are doing an amazing job. Be sure to keep in communication with me if you need anything, and we're going to get through this. So see you guys later.